Hi, it's Marley again. Levi's in his kennel. He's back there. I did want to talk about our very first, legitimate, not first access challenge, but our legitimate difficult one where I actually kind of had to do something after the fact. We were in Houston. I was picking him up from the trainer, and we had gone into the Starbucks just to work on some public access stuff with him so she could show me kind of what she'd been doing with him. Starbucks was cool. Nobody said anything. They smiled when they saw him. Everything was good to go. Then we walked across the parking lot to the Kroger, and we went in Kroger. We walked around. He was doing so good, not offering to sniff anything, just acting like he'd done it his whole life. I was so impressed. We'd probably been in there like 10 or 15 minutes. And then we came around the back of the store by where the produce stuff is, and this lady that worked there, she actually was a manager according to her badge, asked if he was for someone who was blind. Which I get the question a lot. I'm prepared with it, and I was like, no, he's a service dog. You know, I even said that he was a medical response dog, whatever. And she said, well, we're only supposed to allow guide dogs for people who are blind in here. And I said, no, that is not state or federal law. Both provide for other types of disabilities as well. And she said, well, you know, somebody might be afraid of him, and basically told me if she got a complaint about them being afraid of him. And I mean, he was just standing next to me this whole time. He wasn't growling, barking, he was just standing there. And then she would be asking us to leave. And I, said, well, you are not legally allowed to do that. We're allowed to be here based on the Americans with Disabilities Act. And she actually said, I'm not familiar with that law. And I went, oh man. So basically we eventually just walked off because, I mean, it wasn't getting anywhere. I kept telling her she was not legally allowed to ask us to leave. She kept saying, but I'm going to if I have a complaint. I said, but you're not allowed to. And she says, but I'm going to. So at that point, I wish I'd had my information then. I don't know that it would have mattered, but I just kind of gave up. I was like, okay. So we just walked off and whatever. And then when I got, not home, back to the apartment of the friends I was staying with, I emailed corporate, and I was not interested in getting her in trouble. I don't even know this woman's name. No idea. But I emailed corporate and I said, I would just like to let you know that me and my service dog were at the store and this is what happened. And she said to me she was not familiar with the ADA laws, and your employees, especially managers, really, really, really need to be familiar with this. Because there's people that have other types of disabilities like traumatic brain injury that would not be able to stand there and field the questions. I don't like doing it. It raises my anxiety, and which drops my blood pressure, and it's not fun. I don't like it, but I need to get used to it, and I have that problem a lot because I don't look disabled. But anyway, so I just emailed them, let them know I have not been contacted from them except to say with their little automated, we're sorry this was your experience, yada yada. I was kind of hoping they would call and ask me about it so it could maybe make things different in the future. I'm not, going to sit here and say I'm never going to shop at Kroger again, but I was kind of surprised because even though it's a smaller store, the places I tend to have trouble are not chain stores like that. Like Walmart, Target, we never have an issue. Target's amazing with service dogs. I don't like to go to Walmart because it stresses me out. It's so crazy. But Target's really calm. They always do really well with us. But the smaller places, like when we went to the Fort Worth Stock Show and Rodeo, I had seen 2 service dogs there the day before. So I knew, but their experience probably wasn't any better. In just the amount of time that I was there with my friends and my dog was there, which was probably only maybe a couple hours, because I was performing, we had 7 access challenges. Count them, 7. And I mean, most people were just, when I said, well, he's a service dog, he's allowed to be here, they backed off, which is fine. But I'm just like, he had his bright red vest on that said service dog. I don't know what the deal is with that. But I mean, it's smaller places like that we tend to have the issues, and not a big chain store. So I was kind of surprised, but I probably wouldn't have said anything if she'd just been giving me a hard time, if she had not said the part about, well, I'm not familiar with that law, because that was my concern. My concern was not getting her in trouble, was not getting the store in trouble. My concern was you really need to make sure your employees are familiar with ADA laws, because not just for service dog handlers, but especially because it's going to cause issues. And there's going to be people that can't handle the questioning, that aren't able to do that. There's going to be people, like if I was on a bad day, I don't know that I could have handled it. So, and I was there with somebody else. That was also helpful. My trainer was there, so I wasn't by myself. But I mean, it's just, they just need to know, like, even just basic etiquette. If they just know the questions they can ask, like, that would be helpful. So I emailed them, hoping to hear back from them. But I felt proud of my first, like, step as a service dog handler to educating and, you know, taking the extra step to do that. So that was pretty cool. Yeah, we haven't really been out a ton because I've had school and all that kind of craziness. He did go to school with me. First night in school, he did pretty well. His attention span was amazing. I was like, oh my gosh, he's gonna get up, he's gonna start whining. He laid there like the whole two hours, I think it was. Just chilled, like he was good to go. I did feel kind of bad for other people in the room because he's a really gassy dog and we're working on fixing that. But yeah, he was definitely gassy, so that was kind of sad for them. But my professor was really cool with it. I talked to him after, and he has 2 dogs at home that he uses for therapy dogs for something really similar in his practice, and so that was really cool. Levi did really well. Taking him back, not this week because it's spring break, but next week. Hopefully, fingers crossed, he will go to his first vaulting practice on Tuesday. Kind of nervous because Mondays are a lot more calm. There's only like 5 or 6 people because it's the advanced group. Tuesdays is when everybody comes and there's lots of little kids, there's lots of people, lots of activity. But tomorrow's an all-day clinic thing. So I haven't done that with him, and I'm kind of nervous about that, but I think he'll be okay. He's doing better. We've, you know, obviously we had a week of adjustment. It's going to take a little bit. We're going to work on trying to teach him to turn on a light switch, and we've been so unsuccessful at that. So if anybody has any tips for teaching that, I'm all for it. He has no problem, like, jumping up. Like, that's not the issue. It's just he doesn't understand. I don't know if the switch is too tall for him, but he doesn't get, like, what he's supposed to do. And I don't exactly get it either. So that was just one of the things that the trainer gave us to work on for next time. So yeah, any tips on that is helpful. And I guess that's our update for right now. And yeah, I guess I will talk to you guys later.